interests.
Good evening. It was meant to be the end of the line, but the Overlander has been given extra time. Its Australian owner, Toll Holdings, says it's taken on board all the support it received for the service, and over the next few weeks it'll work on a plan for its future. Now, part of that plan means talking to regional councils in the area who have already pledged to help with marketing the Overlander, and Toll told us this evening that it is now in this for the long term. However, the company has made it crystal clear that the Overlander cannot remain in its current form, that change is inevitable. So in the meantime, the service will run 3 days a week, allowing the current carriages to be refurbished. Once summer strikes, it'll expand to a 7-day service if there are enough passengers. Now, in a moment, the Ruapehu Mayor, Sue Morris, but first, Rawdon Christie and some rail enthusiasts on what was almost one of the last overland journeys.
681 kilometres, 352 bridges, 14 viaducts, and 12 hours of, well, just sitting and taking in the view. As the Overlander meanders from volcanic plateau through 1,000-year-old forests to mountainous ranges, it's no wonder they call this spectacular.
There are very few railway lines in the world that are as scenically varied as this one. And not only the scenery, as I explained to you, also the tremendous technical things that have gone into the railway, the building of the railway, the history of it. And we should all see it.
And where there's a train, you're more than likely to find Merv Smith, well-known broadcaster, devoted rail enthusiast.
I love the feel of riding in a train. I love the whole sensation of it. I love knowing what's out there, what's underneath us, what's ahead of us, what's pulling us, what's behind us, the signalling systems, everything about it I find fascinating.
Over recent years, its attraction has dwindled. Too slow, too expensive, too dated. But in its heyday, this was the only way to travel, literally.
Sometimes this railway line was so busy just from a passenger point of view, just after and during the war years, there could be up to 6 heavy passenger trains a night.
It's been 98 years since the North Island Main Trunk Line was first opened. Its construction represents a true example of the Kiwi pioneer spirit.
Literally the whole country was covered in deep, deep bush. So these men had to flog their way through the most appalling country, generally rotten weather, to lay out the line, to locate it, as they say, particularly the Raurimu Spiral. And then from that point on, they had to bring in navvies from all over the place to actually build the darn thing. And the building of it, still in those very, very primitive conditions, was quite extraordinary.
The Raurimu Spiral, a brilliant feat of 19th century engineering that enables the rail track to climb a seemingly impossible 200-metre incline over a 5-kilometre distance.
The other thing is that what they did build was so very, very good, spectacular. The bridges and viaducts on the North Island Main Trunk, for a railway its length, are quite spectacular. In the end, it all came down to muscle power from skinny little jokers earning very few pounds a day, building this railway line through the middle of nowhere at government behest, because there was to be a railway line between Auckland and Wellington. By God, there will be. And eventually there was.
Merv's been riding this line since 1934. Like others, today's trip is a journey of memories.
I used to come up and down on the train to school in the 70s regularly, every term, backwards and forwards. We used to stop and get pies or cups of tea, and one of the highlights of the trip was throwing saucers out the window, winding the windows down over the viaducts, and the Mangaweka viaduct, I think it was, and we would all throw the saucers out the window, and occasionally other things went out, school hat and various things, but it added to the excitement of the journey.
A lot of drinking was going on, I think, in the trains then. I didn't drink, but I remember parties. Just a whole different feel then. I mean, it was always crowded, busy, a lot of people talking, and of course you travelled at night time, so there was a bit of probably a romance to a lot of people too.
Today, refreshments are confined to the buffet car.
Good hearty meal at any time, bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash? Wait a minute.
Curry to hurry for.
Oh, no, not curry.
Here's one for you.
What's that?
The original Frankfurter sausage. Come on, all kids and big kids.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Enjoy a piping hot Frankfurter and a fresh
torpedo roll, and with American mustard. That sounds all right.
And if a hot dog's not your cup of tea, there's always the lunch stop. The cafe here at National Park has to feed up to 100 people, and they've got 40 minutes to do it. The cafe will keep running, but business is unlikely to be as brisk over the winter.
The railway line goes where the main roads don't go. You're seeing fantastic scenery, really wild, rugged scenery, and you're seeing every aspect of the North Island scenery from the train that you do not see in any other way.
The train may be full today, but the reality is people think of it as uncomfortable, expensive, and just takes a very long time.
You're not paying to travel by rail, not by bus or a plane. You're paying to travel on a train, and it should be a really lovely travel experience, which is really what this train was set up to do. You're being taken into the distance on a set of narrow steel rails, and you have no say about what's going to happen.
Well, joining us now live by phone, Sue Morris, the Mayor of Ruapehu District. Hello, Sue. You're obviously delighted with this news.
Absolutely wonderful news for us at the Ruapehu District. We're just over the moon, ecstatic, overjoyed.
Did you get any hint at all from Toll that there would be this last-minute reprieve?
Nothing at all. In fact, we were on a knife edge all afternoon just waiting to see what was going to happen, but it's really great that Tolls have seen the importance of keeping the service going for our region, not just for us, not just for Ruapehu, but for all of New Zealand. And they've identified a solution just in the meantime, you know, to keep the Overlander going. Fabulous for us.
They have also, though, Sue, made it very clear that change is inevitable. Have you got some sort of thoughts on what that change may be to keep the Overlander viable into the future?
I think a very good marketing strategy is what's needed, and some sales pitch. We need the people of New Zealand and visitors into the country to say, let's get on that Overlander and enjoy the train trail experience, particularly through our volcanic plateau. It's fabulous down here.
You talked about marketing. Interesting. I think they are looking to you and the regions to provide some of the marketing, aren't they?
That's right, and I understand that has been resolved. That proposal's been accepted.
So what does that entail the regions actually putting in to keep the Overlander going?
Regional Council will have to answer that question for you, the details of all of that, but we're happy to support that angle. It means a lot to us. These 13,000 passengers get off the train here between Taumarunui National Park and Ohakune. They stay 2.3 visitor nights, spend $145 a day. That equates to $4.3 million. It would have been a huge loss to our economy if that was if the Overlander didn't carry on. So we can say, let's work on that. Let's increase that. If we can get that yield up, get the people on the train, oh, it'll be just fabulous.
So they're also talking about refurbishing existing carriages. So do you think it may be sort of a matter of actually lifting the service to make it a little bit more desirable for people?
I think so. It's all about streamlining as well, Susan. It's getting everything looking good. It'll be tourist-focused as well. We need to have that. We want people to come from overseas to enjoy our country, and people are looking to travel on trains all over the world. So it would have been crazy, really almost bizarre to see it go.
So any idea when there'll be a clear picture of just what of the brave new world of the Overlander will actually look like?
Well, I think it'll be time. I don't think it'll be too much time either. As it picks up momentum, money will be poured into it, and yeah, it could be very promising in the future. We've got a wonderful future to look forward to.
Good to talk to you, Sue Morris, the Ruapehu District Mayor. Thanks so much for your time this evening. Still to come, our very own Republic steps into the worldwide spotlight. First, though, a close-up on Shanghai. Mark uncovers a city charging into the future.
You know, they can always use different technologies to bypass the censorship.
Exactly 5 years after the fall of the Twin Towers, the Kiwis performed an impromptu haka near Ground Zero.
Very touched by the fact that they made the long trip. It's a very, very sad place.
More civilians caught in the crossfire.
And this attack is only likely to escalate this conflict.
In breaking news, the Māori Queen, Dame Tātai Rangikahu, has died.
She's probably in a better place now.
We are one people, one nation.
To transform plain food into a great tasting meal, all you need is a little inspiration from the Master Foods range of herbs and spices. Get inspired with Master Foods.
New Zealand and Insurer of the Year, Australia and New Zealand General Insurance Company of the Year. Vero New Zealand, that's quite a performance.
Where have you been, my blue-eyed son? Where have you been, my darling young one? I stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I walked and I crawled on 6 crooked highways. I stepped in the middle of 7 dark forests. I've been in front of a dozen blue oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. I heard the sound of thunder, it rolled out a warning. I met a young woman whose body was burning. I saw a highway of diamonds with nobody on it. And it's hard, yeah, it's hard. It's so hard, yeah, it's hard. And it's hard, right? Gonna fall, gonna
fall. Win $50,000. New Sudoku from Instant Kiwi.
New Zealand Insurer of the Year, Australia and New Zealand General Insurance Company of the Year. Vero New Zealand, that's quite a performance.
Experience an evening of astounding jazz with the Jacques Lussier Trio. This will be an unparalleled opportunity to hear the unique sound of this French jazz ensemble. The Jacques Lussier Trio will never be back in New Zealand again. Book now at Ticketek.
At Raywood Fresh, we're passionate about good food. So you'll only find fresh and tasty fruit, veg and meat at low prices. Raywood Fresh, your local village market.
Retire in style. Kate Shepherd's new condominiums are the ultimate in luxury living. Enjoy the spacious 1 or 2 bedroom apartments or one of our expansive 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom penthouse suites. Latest design features include granite tops and stainless steel appliances, lifts to all floors, 24-hour security access, nurse call and stunning lakeside views. Expressions of interest are welcome. Call Kate Shepherd today.
They've got to be cruel.
I think she's 54. I'd say 55.
To be kind.
We've got to transform you into a goddess.
10 years younger in 10 days.
It seems all eyes are fixed on Shanghai. The city of 17 million people is on the march. Indeed, it seems to be rushing as fast as possible into the future. And New Zealand wants a piece of this new modern China with a free trade deal that we're hoping will be one of the first signed by China with a developed country. Removal of barriers to the free flow of goods and services would be worth hundreds of millions of dollars to New Zealand businesses every year. But free trade isn't easy. We understand negotiations are facing tough times. As Mark Sainsbury reports, Shanghai has seen it all before.
You're always in for a surprise in Shanghai, whether it's an architectural one or cultural. And nowhere defines the cultural divide like the Bund. Bund, a German name for the riverfront, a hangover from the colonial days of the 20s when the city boasted German, French, British and American quarters. Not that the city had much choice in the matter. Across the river from the legacy of that age, the towering testimonies to the new China. Under the river, theme park-style tourist attractions, including the city's Sex, Health and Culture Museum. Above ground, no less strange, the Bund home to some other cultural divides as well. Tai Chi shares space with ballroom dancing lessons.
So every morning the practice begins from 6:30 to 9.
And can she teach anyone to dance?
Everyone can be the teacher and everyone can be the student.
Everyone? Have you heard of Rodney Hyde?
有没有听到过 Rodney Hyde 这个人？
We may send him over for some more lessons. If outdoor ballroom dancing lessons on a Chinese riverbank seem somewhat incongruous, stand by. The famous Peace Hotel has had a jazz band since the late 1920s. Like a living museum, the old jazz band is now a Shanghai icon. The old jazz band still plays, and when I say old, I mean old.
86.
86?
Yes, it's a play, the trumpet player.
86?
Yes.
Very good.
都老了，都老了。
We grow old.
The jazz band at the Peace Hotel is like a social barometer of change in China.
If mentioned to the earlier time, maybe during the 1950s, in 1953, some Chinese men jazz band were started. During the Cultural Revolution, from 1966 to 1976, this period, all the Chinese jazz bands were closed.
So, whatever happened to the Cultural Revolution, and more particularly, whatever happened to those iconic images, the posters, the propaganda that defined it during the 60s? Well, it's hard to find, but you have to come to the basement of Building 4B, a nondescript address here in Shanghai, but down in that basement is a treasure trove of history. A treasure trove of a bygone age when the West was the great evil. Well, greater than it is now. And a Communist Party founder, Chairman Mao.
Mao was a hero because after 300 years, the decline of China after European Industrial Revolution, China got suffered by so many foreign invaders. So we need a hero to get them out, and Mao did it. So this is a very important history. Of course, he was very cruel to the intellectuals. So he's lots of mistakes, especially the Cultural Revolution.
The revolution you no longer hear about. Yang Pei-ming is determined to preserve the propaganda of an age that was in many ways tragic.
My classmates, until today, they don't want to meet each other because so much struggles, Cultural Revolution, kill each other, writing each other. It's a very bad time, but it's a good education. It's a good education. For me, I think I'm lucky and unlucky. I'm lucky because I saw these different up-down time, upside-down time. And unlucky because my younger time, we have no fun, Very dull. Yeah.
Life's not so dull for the intellectuals these days. Isaac Mao is one of China's biggest bloggers. And what does big mean in internet terms in China?
I think there are about 120 million internet users.
The internet is proving to be the cultural revolution of this century.
It's a good change to Chinese community, yeah.
Because it's causing debate.
Yeah. I like debate. If there is no debate or if there are no any respect on different opinions, the society of China cannot evolve very healthy.
Are there still restrictions on what you can access here?
Actually, we cannot access maybe some thousands of websites from overseas. But to the common people, it's an issue. However, to the geeks or to some technical guys, they can always use different technologies to bypass the censorship.
Unlike the jazz musicians of the last century, the internet, it seems, cannot be stopped quite so arbitrarily. Modern China and modern Shanghai are firmly fixed on the future, as the survivors of old China reflect on the past. Do they get lots of girls coming to watch them?
有没有很多女孩，就是年轻的女孩来看你们的演出？
有，这是什么日本的
？A lot of Japanese girls.
And Mark was in China courtesy of Air New Zealand. Well, still to come, get your passports ready. We're heading down the Lost World Highway.
Passports?
Yes, passports.
Do we need passports?
You definitely need passports to enter the Wonga Republic.
Oh.
They all have a dream.
Congratulations.
They all want the money.
Like 100,000.
70,000. $50,000.
Most cash a reality check.
I find it embarrassing. It's pathetic.
But this time, Sir Bob has a better proposal.
Would you consider a marriage proposal? I'm talking about me. I'm offered to marry you.
Dragon's Den New Zealand. Tonight, TV1.
As we age, our skin is slower to recover. Protection from an early age with QV washes, lotions and bath oils will keep your skin looking young and healthy for longer. Highly recommended and available at your pharmacy.
The Holden Viva family of cars. Whether you go for the Viva 5-door hatch, Viva sedan or Viva wagon, you get so much more for so little. From just $24,490, Holden Viva for the family on the go.
To transform plain food into a great tasting meal, all you need is a little inspiration from the Master Foods range of herbs and spices. Get inspired with Master Foods.
Natural ingredients are playing an increasing role in many areas of health and well-being, and this includes skincare. A perfect example is the new Aveeno Skin Relief range for people with extra dry problem skin. To explain, here's dermatologist Bruce Taylor.
Thanks, Donna. The two active natural ingredients in the Aveeno Skin Relief range are natural colloidal oatmeal, a finely milled oatmeal with moisturising properties, and soothing menthol, which cools the skin on contact to relieve the discomfort associated with extra dry skin. So for my patients with dry skin conditions, I recommend the Aveeno Skin Relief range. It helps stop them from scratching and ensures the skin remains well moisturised. Aveeno is gentle, and once it replenishes the skin's lost moisture, it locks it in for 24 hours.
For a free Aveeno sample, ask your doctor or pharmacist.
When muscle or back pain stops you getting on with everyday life, you need rapid relief from a specialised treatment, like new Voltaren Rapid 12.5 tablets. They work fast, and the dual action helps reduce inflammation and relieve pain for up to 24 hours. So don't let everyday muscle or back pain slow you down. Pick up some Voltaren Rapid 12.5 tablets, specialised muscle and back pain relief. Available now at your pharmacy.
For more, visit the Family Health Diary website or pick up our free magazine at your pharmacy.
This is weird.
It's tearing me apart. I don't know how much longer I can go on like this.
Coronation Street. Next, TV1.
It's had a turbulent political history and some unusual leaders, and now a small Taranaki township is about to hit the worldwide spotlight. The Republic of Whangamomona is the only New Zealand town to feature in a new Lonely Planet book on tiny independent nations. Now, its past presidents include a poodle and a goat, and recent presidential candidates have included a cross-dresser. Corinne Ambler paid them a visit.
Head inland from New Plymouth along the aptly named Forgotten World Highway, and you soon begin to wonder what you've let yourself in for. The dangerous natives have left their mark everywhere. And if that doesn't scare you away, the roads also seem designed to keep visitors out. So it's with some apprehension we cross the border into the Republic of Whangamomona.
Looks like we've got a welcoming committee. Hey, they're pretty scary. G'day, g'day.
Passports?
Passports?
Yes, passports.
Do we need passports?
You definitely need passports to enter the Wonga Republic. Could you please step out of the vehicle, please, madam?
Sure. All visitors to the Republic must submit to a search and be tested for signs of bird flu.
What does it look like?
Oh no, it's clear. It's clear.
Then it's on to passport control.
Is this where I buy a passport?
Yes, it is. This gives you safe passage into Wonga, protects you while you're here.
Oh.
Crazy people.
The easiest way to get what you want in Wonga, as the locals call it, is by using bribery. We prefer to call it a peace offering.
What is it? We haven't seen one of those before. Does anyone know what this is?
No.
Anyone? No. Come on, children. The beehive.
The township has a population of between 20 and 40, depending on who you talk to. In 1989, the government caused an uproar by rezoning Whangamomana out of the Taranaki district and in with Manawatu Wanganui, prompting proud locals to form their own republic.
Duly swear to be a good and fair president to the people of this republic.
In arguments over whether they're a real country or not, townsfolk have adopted the Frank Zappa definition.
You can't be a real country unless you have a bear and an airline. It helps if you have some kind of football team or some nuclear weapons, but at the very least, you need a bear.
No problems there. The Republic Ale is just one of the delights on offer at headquarters. You can also bribe your way to citizenship by buying the T-shirt, or something for recent past President Ty.
He loves chocolate.
Chocolate frogs.
How's his health?
He's put on a bit of weight.
Yeah, he's 11. He's pretty good.
When he starts jumping up at the bar, we know that he needs a chocolate fix.
I thought dogs weren't supposed to eat chocolate, but it seems what Ty wants, Ty gets. A Labrador attack cut his presidency short and left him funny in the head. So now he spends his days visiting his loyal subjects and marking his territory. One of his favourite spots just happens to be the front lawn of the current president. Mert Kennard and First Lady Marg run the local cafe.
I love your mayoral chains. Are they your mayoral chains?
That's the mayoral chains here. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and what is that made of?
Pig tusk, beer tabs and lollies.
Lollies?
And rings.
Yeah, and rings.
Do you-
And docking rings.
Uh-huh.
Especially for...
So if you get hungry, do you have a bit of a nibble?
Yeah.
Mert and Mark are big on serving the community. You'll often find them up country, making sure far-flung townsfolk can get through for those all-important council meetings. And still playing an active role in Republic business is Whangamomana's first president, Ian Kessie Kestrup.
Sitting out the back here one day, and there was a few guys here, and they just decided that I was going to run. And I said I'd run if Kessie run, you say, and he agreed, and next thing we get Bruce. But we didn't actually know at the time he was going to dress up.
But the job isn't without its risks. Mert has 2 bodyguards after President number 2, Billy, died in mysterious circumstances. He now watches over his beloved kingdom from a nearby hilltop, while his offspring keep the grass down around his shrine. Mark makes sure the president keeps his strength up with her famous Wonga burger, and he'll need it. He plans to stand again at the next Republic Day in January. And if any of you out there are thinking of challenging Mert for a place in Whangamomana's history books, just remember the golden rule. Bribery, bribery, and more bribery.
And Close Up has just learned that former presidential hopeful Miriam, aka Bruce Collins, is moving back to Whangamomana and intends to stand for president on Republic Day in January. And Micronations, the Lonely Planet Guide to Homemade Nations, will be on bookshelves here next month. Well, I'm off tomorrow to revisit a story I first did 20 years ago, so Mark will be with you. I'll see you next week. Until then, that's New Zealand Close Up.
Bump, 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 bump. Oh, there.
You never know if the rug will be pulled out from under you. A family trust can help all kinds of people protect their assets from the unexpected. For more information, call now.
Capital and Merchant Finance keeps you better informed with this One News update.
Good evening. The Overlander gets a new lease of life at the 11th hour, but can the Auckland-Wellington service be kept on the right financial track? Helicopters battle a huge blaze at a Dunedin pine factory. Arson is suspected as firefighters struggle to keep a nearby high school safe. More political sleaze. The Māori Party tells of an attempt to buy influence at the last election. The government says it should name names. And a high-flying medical marvel, surgery that's a cut above the rest. Do join us. We'll see you at 10:30.
This One News update was brought to you by Capital and Merchant Finance.
Get sewing. All right, girls. Hey, darling. No, I'm Mike Baldwin. You know, got time on your cock. You know.
Coro Street is brought to you by the nice people from Contact Energy.